Good morning, WISER Nation. Good morning, family. This is 6 a.m. What a glorious day, glorious time. Glad you are here with me today. Good morning, 22 days in. Oh my goodness, it's amazing how time does fly when we're doing what we love, when we're doing what we need for a better life in the new year, but in every year, especially starting today. So, good morning to you, Mrs. Inspira, our first this morning. How are you today? Stephanie Williams, good morning. Az Philip Adegboye Olufunsho, good morning. Amina Grace. Emmanuel Livinus, good morning. Nancy Dehan. Egbo Chinyere Stella, good morning. Michael Okori, have I mentioned your name before? I don't think so. Good morning. Chinyere Obiobasi, good morning. Glaçon Le, I hope I got that right. Good morning. Bidemi Shitu, Omalicha Maximilian, good morning. Amanda Ehima, Zita Okorie, Charity Angele, Rosaline Onolaja, Osai Precious, Christiana Agboni, Donalyn Harry, Ekene Obika, Osemembe, Egbodion. I hope I got that right. Joy Eagle. Leslie Wisabu, good morning. I hope I didn't miss any name out. Amanda Ehima, just in case I hadn't mentioned it before. Morning, morning, morning. Good to see you. Thank you all for being here. Sistuzom. Morning, Mfon Thomas. Good morning. Thank you all so much for your videos. Gosh, it's so amazing to place some faces with some names that I see in the chats. Thank you. Afoni Mebasi, so good to see you. Anthony Egujua, my brother, I love you so much. Aunli Ubuta, I'm for God. Good morning. 22. Doris, my doctor. Good morning. Chapter 22 is our text for today. We're still using the Message translation. And I just love the Message because I feel the language is very relatable. It's easy to understand. That is one of the reasons why, that's the main reason why I use the Message translation. And when I study personally, sometimes I look at the Amplified or the New King James, the NLT. So in your study, please be curious as to what other translations say, because sometimes they shed more light. So don't just use only the Message. Please use almost anything you can find. There is the Jewish Bible, there's a Catholic Bible, there are so many. If you use YouVersion app or BibleGate, I use BibleGate for this, but for my personal study, I use the YouVersion app, which you can find very easily in the app stores of iOS or Android. So please download if you don't already, so that when you're studying one, you can just try different translations and see. With the YouVersion app, if you download the version, you can use them offline. But if you don't download it, the downloads are a few KBs. I don't think they're even up to MBs. If you don't download it, you always need internet to check the different versions. So download as many as you can. There's a contemporary English version. They're all manner, just for more insight, which is something Wisdom began to share with us from day one, about panning for knowledge like we're panning for gold, digging, looking for versions, looking for perspectives, so that we can have more insight, right? So don't limit yourself, please. Run wild, as it were. Mommy, good morning. Good morning, Daddy. Morning. So it is chapter 22, the Message translation. A sterling reputation is better than striking it rich. I don't think this is the 8th time we've read it. This might be like the 10th time we've read it in one way or the other since we began. A gracious spirit is better than money in the bank. This is the word of wisdom for us today. Bring back our reputation. Hashtag bring back our reputation. Let's know, in case we have even jokingly said it at some point, say, who good name Eb. Let's remember that this is the original plan. It is still true even today. Sometimes it seems like it's not, but it is still true. That a sterling reputation is better than riches, and the gracious spirit better than money in the bank. The rich and the poor shake hands as equals. God made them both. I will treat all people equally. I will treat everyone equally. I would give honor to everyone. I would give respect to everyone. I will I will be courteous to everyone. I will not be more courteous to someone just because they are rich. I'll be courteous to everyone. Yes, there is a place where you tend to give more honor to people who have more value to you. For example, you have a mentor who has been such a blessing to you. There is this role model of yours. You see them and you are in awe, and you show them so much love, respect. They come into a place, you're glad to give them your seats, right? And then there's someone else who is poor, who comes in, you may never have had any relationship with, and somebody says, "Oh, can you give up your seat for this person?" You're like, "What the hell? For what?" That's the point. It's, "Oh, really? Oh, this person is poor." Now, it's not just about being poor. "Oh, Joyce, can you give up your seat to this person? Uh, Obviously she's pregnant, or she looks like she's over 60, or he's whatever it is." It's not my place to size them up, ask who they are, see the way he's even dressed, and he'll come and sit in front. No, I beg, give him somewhere behind. Those are the things we want to be careful of, how you speak to people who you don't know but don't look like much. God made us all. At least let's shake hands as equals. A prudent person sees trouble coming and ducks. A simpleton walks in blindly and is clobbered. Whether it is walking into an exam hall that we have not prepared for because we were not prudent in studying, we walk in and we're clobbered. The way jammed me when I wrote jam that year, I was not prepared enough. I hadn't been prudent in my studying. So I was clobbered. So what is it in 2023 that we're walking into that we are not yet prudent at? Including things that Jimmy spoke of yesterday, planning for, or was that Jimmy, or that was the video I watched after WISER? I think that was a video I watched after WISER. I watched something about financial planning, tips from oh yeah, Jimmy did mention it, from the scripture yesterday where he was saying planning ahead, planning ahead. So the video I watched later was a very short 10-minute video. So financial habits, 10 financial habits as recommended by Warren Buffett. So I wanted to check to see if I have a healthy financial habits, because when we're studying something, it's to check that we're in line, right? Not just to gather knowledge. It's okay to gather knowledge. It's better to gather knowledge that we take action on. So seeing that you have a budget, you stick with your budget, you have the accounts where you can plan ahead with. So if we're walking into parenting, for example, you're going to have a child in 2023, or it's a prayer for you, what are the plans on how to take care of the child physically, how to plan for their education, how to plan for their welfare, right? Simpletons will walk in and be clobbered and start saying things like, "This life no balance," right? Because the planning itself was not there. We were winging it and just thinking, "Oh well, because I'm married now, some people are going to get married in December." Holla! I might know one or two people here who are getting married this month end, right? You're getting married, and you also are saying, "Oh, I don't want children for maybe the next 2 years or 3 years, or I want a baby by this time next year." What's the plan? What's the plan to be prudent about? Oh, I don't want a child for the next, we don't want a child for the next 3 years. What has been done about it, so that we don't walk in blindly and are clobbered and say, okay, no, for 3 years, no babies, let's do this, let's finish this, let's do that, because these things happen. And then in 3 months' time, we are pregnant. Why? No, we were not prudent about putting in place what should have been put in place. Are you with me? And then we are clobbered immediately. Things fall apart. Oh my gosh, this was not the plan. Hey, God. And God is like, me? Tinja Gabriel, what did we do? Michael, see, oh, they're calling our name. She had said, not she, they had said we should protect them. We're giving them all the protection. There was work for them to do. They should have gone to use family planning, this, that. Which one? How is it now my fault? Simpletons walk blindly and are clobbered. Getting into school, what's the plan for time management to ensure that we will stick with the CGPA? We will attain the CGPA, the grade point average that is required to graduate with a 2-1 or a first class, if that is the desire. And that should be the desire, right? What's the plan for having better work relations with people, so that when we see trouble coming, we know how to duck? Else we walk in, boom, the thing will slap us on different sides. Let's just check that we're being prudent about the things that we're involved in. The payoff for meekness and fear of God is plenty and honor and a satisfying life. I want this. I want this. So what am I going to do? I will be meek. What does meek mean? Dictionary definition of meek. Meek meaning quiet, gentle, easily imposed on, submissive, yielding. That's the definition of meek. Yielding to superior knowledge, yielding to God, submissive to what is right, legal, moral. Meekness is not stupidity. Meekness is strength to hone all the energies and submit to higher power. I want this, so I'm going to be meek. I am meek in 2023, exhibiting the fear of God, and therefore plenty and honor and a satisfying life are mine. The perverse travel a dangerous road, potholed and mud sleek. If you know what's good for you, stay clear of it. We've made all sorts of mistakes in the past. We've been on roads that we had no business being on. Wisdom, WISER as a program, as a study, is not about flogging and condemning. No, WISER is about, you've done it before, now clean your face, wise up, walk up, do it differently. Stay clear and steer clear of the dangerous road of perversion, twisting the truth, twisting what is right and making it wrong, if especially when we know that that is what we're doing. Point your kids in the right direction. When they are old, they won't be lost. They won't be lost. Pointing in the right direction for me is you point and then you allow them go in the right direction. But you point. Sometimes we point and we have to take them there. Other times we point and let them find their way there. They might argue along the way. They might get distracted along the way like we do. They might take the wrong road, different from where we pointed them at some point. But because there's something called memory, there is a time when and if you know what I'm saying, you've been there before, just write, been there. I know somebody will not write BT. Where you knew the way because it had been pointed out to you. But either you decided or you just lost sight. You lost your way or you went off the way. But because you had been pointed in the right direction, you found your way back and said, no, this is the right thing. This is where I should be. And you found your way back. Parents, our children will find their way back. We just need to show them the way and trust God that they will find their way. Sometimes, in the bid to keeping them from losing the way from where we have pointed, we don't allow them leave. Let them leave. Let them leave and find the way, but let's point. Our duty is to keep pointing, continue to point, continue to point, continue to point without fear or favor. Continue to point. Even when that child of yours is 40, you still point. Thank you for pointing. So one thing is how to point. By conversation, by giving assignments, by giving book studies, by experiencing, by teaching, by praying, and by living. By just being. Who we are is a pointer to our children, where to go or where not to go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Some things that we are and do are showing our children never to do what we have done. And some things are showing our children this thing, which my parents are doing, this is what I want. Some of us gripe about life so much. Oh, this life, this life, this life, this life, this life, this Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. And so our children have sworn that they will never live in this Nigeria. They must find their way out of Nigeria somehow. And sometimes you might be wondering, why is this child so bent on leaving this country? It's the pointer of our griping. So pointing is not just what we say, it's what we are. It's who we are. Do our children see us give thanks all the time? Do they see us live lives of gratitude and honor and respect? That's a pointer. Do they see us care for people genuinely? Or do they see us to practice eye service, caring only for those who can care for us? They are watching, even when they don't know they are watching. Pointing is also who we are. When they're old, they won't be lost. They hear us when we criticize ethnic groups. They say, Ijaw people, no trust them. Ijaw people, yeah, then go chop your money run. You say what? Igbo. Hey, Igbo. Never. That's a pointer. So they're being pointed. And this boy meets an Ijaw girl and he wants to go into partnership with business partnership or marriage partnership. And he remembers, they kept saying Ijaw girls, Ijaw people, Ijaw people, Ijaw people. I beg, let me go. Well, that's just one random excuse. Be careful, parents, where you point them in the right direction. So yes, I have been duped by several Ijaw people or several Hausa people or several something people. That doesn't mean they're all bad. What I should do is more due diligence. Check this, check that, check this, check that, because it's not necessarily about ethnic groups and ethnic lines. It's about people who are poorly principled, and they could be of any race, any ethnicity, any gender, any age, any religion. Due diligence points them in the right direction. The poor are always ruled by the rich. So don't borrow and put yourself under the power of the rich. Poor are always ruled by the rich, whether it's rich in money, rich in influence, rich in knowledge, rich in courage, rich in confidence, rich in reach. The poor in all those spheres of money, influence, network, power, audacity, courage, reach will always be ruled by the rich. It's not only about money, it's about all sorts of currencies. The energetic, those who pay attention, those who spend time at something. The poor will always be ruled by the rich. So don't borrow and put yourself under their power. Rather, what should we do? Be prudent to become rich. Study, grow, stretch. Don't resolve to be under their power. The poor, the rich may not go out of their way to rule the poor. It's just what happens. In a workspace, somebody is rich in prudence. She's always checking again. She's looking through. She's asking questions. She's ensuring that things are done right and on time. She has a wonderful relationship or has great relations with people. She's respectful. She's meek. She's rich in personality. She's rich in character. She's rich in knowledge. Guess what? We find that she just keeps getting ahead. He just keeps getting ahead. They just keep pushing them forward. People want to hear from her, hear from him. They want to put them on pedestals of leadership because they are rich in different spheres. And those who are not prudent, who are not studying, who are not careful, who are not diligent, you say, now, wow, because she's friends with everybody, she's rich in relations. Because she dey greet oga, now wow, she's rich in reach. She's rich in solutions. When they call everybody together and say, how can we solve this? And some people say, okay, well, give us 2 days to think about it. In 2 hours, she has come back with a solution. She's rich. She will lead the poor. Full stop. In 2023. Will you be rich? Will we be rich in the things that matter to our sphere of influence? Or will we be ruled over by the rich who are doing the work in our sphere? I am rich. Whoever sows sin reaps weeds, and bullying anger spotters into nothing. No bullies here. No bullies here. No sin sowers here. Generous hands are here. Generous hands are here. And they are blessed hands because they give bread to the poor. Physically and literally, they give bread to the poor. They give direction to those who don't have. They give support to those who don't have. And it's not just a thing for social media motives, remember? It's a way of life to want others to have the opportunities that you have, to really desire that others have what you have. Good quality of education you want to share. Generous hands are blessed hands because they give to the poor. They don't leave the poor behind. They try to make the poor rich, as it were. Kick out the troublemakers and things will quiet down. You need a break from bickering and griping. Sometimes when we are in the midst of the calm, of the storm, I beg your pardon, we need to find what and who that troublemaker might be. And that is the person or thing that needs to be eliminated. The troublemaker might be a lack of sleep. And so you're constantly having headaches, always having headaches. It might be a tooth that has a hole that has not been attended to. Everywhere is in turmoil. You are always out of sorts. Maybe that tooth needs to be removed this December. Take away the troublemaker and things will quiet down. Some of us, you have been told you need to wear glasses because at certain age, your eyes will behave a certain way, especially now that we are constantly in front of blue lights, phones, screens, laptops, TVs, and they have said to you for the past 7 years or 6 years, you need to use these kind of glasses when you read or when you're watching something, when you're using your device, and you said, God forbid, my youth is renewed, my strength is renewed, but you are in constant turmoil. There is bickering and griping within you. Your eyes are always itching, they're dry, they're painful. I know God is a God of healing, Jehovah Rofika. He is also a God of wisdom. Go wear your blue light glasses or limit and reduce the amount of time you spend in front. There is a troublemaker within your family. The troublemaker might be the fact that you don't listen. Joyce, are you hearing? Maybe the fact that you always want your way. You always want your way. If it's not your way, then it's the highway. That might be the troublemaker. So in 2023, I want to listen. I want to keep quiet for a moment and let other people speak. The troublemaker might be lack of financial discipline, where there is no budget for the month, none at all. And so you keep wondering how the money is spent because there is even no guide and no tracking. It might be that you have never gone to look at your, your alerts, or open your statement to see where all the money has gone because it's been cash transactions. You withdraw 100,000, cash, 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 cash. The troublemaker might be the fact that it's so untraceable, you can't even remember what you've spent money on. And so you don't know. But you say, okay, this January, everything I spend on will be by transfer from the app with a narration. I won't even do star something. For those GTP people, star 737, I won't do any star 73 so that I can track. I would use the app for every transaction, including paying my bolt, buying water. I will transfer and write water so that at the end of the month, I can look at all I spent money and say, what? You mean you spent a whole 12,600 in total on only bole and fish? 3 times. Oh, the first time was 4,000 something. That bole switch with that fish. I had to be the cooker. 3 times. Meanwhile, my salary is 75,000 a month or 150,000. Can I really afford 12,900 or 13,000, 16,000 on only bole and fish? That might be the troublemaker. The ability to track. And the troublemaker might be a troublemaker in your team who is always going against your instructions and inciting others to do same because they feel that you don't love them. So they are fighting back by being troublesome. And you might look at it and say, the problem here, the troublemaker here, is it really this person that is always inciting rebellion? Or is the troublemaker the fact that I don't regard them as people? I just treat them anyhow, and so they are fighting back. Check for what the troublemaker really is. And it might be that you just call the person and say, I appreciate you for all the work you've done. I realize that I have really given you a tough time. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm sorry. I want us to be cordial. I'm sorry. Please, let's see how we can be more cordial this year. And you mean it and you do it. That takes a lot of humility, a lot of courage to do, especially when this person is your junior. It takes being high. It takes walking up, taking the high road. You walk up and say, I'll win them to my side with love. And you appreciate them. You intentionally find something in them that you can truly, truly appreciate. And you begin to show them kindness within certain boundaries. And before you know it, they become some of your greatest allies. That might be the troublemaker itself, not the person. You might also say, you know what, this person is not going to be in my team anymore. I'm transferring him or her to another team. Yes, you've gotten them out. The place will quiet down. But has the real troublemaker been addressed? Food for thought, food for action. Kick out the troublemakers and things will quiet down. And there are times when the troublemaker is just simply a troublemaker who just likes to make trouble, regardless of how you relate to them or with them and how much kindness you show them. They are just troublemakers. Then we find ways to get them out in the right way, whether it's by legal intervention or whatever it is, but get them out. Ensure we know where the trouble is coming from and deal decisively, deal quickly, deal with a lot of wisdom, planning, prudence, diligence, so that you don't walk in like a simpleton thinking you're about to deal with the troublemaker and clobber you. God loves the pure-hearted. If it made sense to you, please write "make sense" in the chat. God loves the pure-hearted and well-spoken. Wow. Good leaders also delight in their friendship. Yesterday, Jimmy was talking about from wisdom, speaking convincingly. It's one thing to know the truth. It's another thing to know how to communicate it. Pure-hearted, because what makes it for a pure heart? The right knowledge and the alignment to same, the humility to give in to superior knowledge, power. It's like a combination of all the good things that makes one's heart pure. I will get the right knowledge. I will be submissive to great power. I will love. I will be kind. All that, and then you come be well spoken on top. Come on. Good leaders will delight in their friendship. So what here are you taking away as a principle for 2023? Improve your pure-heartedness or your well-spokenness. They will open doors and you will become the delight of leaders. Thank you all. I see your responses. Verse 12. God guards knowledge with a passion, but he'll have nothing to do with deception. He'll have nothing to do with it. I want him with me all the time. So I will be straight. I will be truthful. I will stand with the truth. I will stand on the side of truth. I will be guarded because of the quality of knowledge that is within me. So he will guard me and guard the knowledge within me with a passion. Come on. I am protected, not just because I am his, but because of the quality of knowledge within me that he knows can be used to transform society. I will be guarded. I am guarded by him. Yes, I am preserved by him. I am guarded. He's guarding me and the treasures within me. Not just guiding, guarding, protecting. I fear nothing and no one because he guards me. The loafer says there's a lion on the loose. If I go out, I'll be eaten. If I go and write CV now, they go tell me saying I don't know anybody. Nigeria, na man, no man. The loafer says, if you want to apply and you have not settled anybody, there's a lion there. Oh. These are truths that there are several places, including our dear country, Nigeria, where if you don't know someone, you may not get in. But it's not always true. There are even those organizations and institutions where you don't know anybody, but your CV speaks for you. So, yes, there's a lion on the loose. So, how do I protect myself from the lion on the loose? Don't only allude to the fact that there is a lion on the loose and do nothing about it. What's to be done? Because there are people who are out there. How are they protecting themselves from the lions on the loose? Remember, excuses are real. They are real. That's why they keep us from doing things, because they are real. It's many times excuses are not fads, they're not fake, they're not fluff, they are real. Yes, I have heard that you need to know someone to get in there. So who do I need go and know now? With my truth. Not that I have, they said minimum should be a 2-1 or a 2-2. I don't have a 2-1, I don't have a 2-2, but I'll say like, but let me go and look for who I know so that they will help me and get in above those who have the real requirements. That now is deception coming in. They are real. So yes, maybe I need to go and befriend somebody there to say, see you, I actually have a 2-1. I am qualified. I have done this, I have done that. Push my document in, put it in the file so it can be seen. I qualify for this job. Do you know that's what elections are about? Lobbying for a role you believe you are qualified for. Loafers will say, yeah, there's a lion on the loose. Politics is dirty. But you honestly, truly believe that you are the right person for this job? Those who are in there, how are they doing it? And how do I do it in a way that I'll do it better without getting all soiled? What's the way? Who else has done it in this same climb? How are they making it? And who else has done it anywhere in the world? What did they do that I can learn from? Because there is a lion on the loose. And I need to be ready for that lion so that I will not be eaten alive. I will destroy the lion. Excuses are real. They just don't take you to the top. The mouth of a prostitute is a bottomless pit. You'll fall in that pit if you're on the outs with God. Stay with God to avoid the pits of the prostitutes, the real prostitute, the one that lures you to sex, male or female, and the prostitutes that lure you to corruption of all sorts, sexual or not. It's easier to fall prey to the prostitute when we are on the outs with God. So the solution here is stay with God. Stay on the side of God. Stay on the side of truth. Young people are prone to foolishness and fads. The cure comes through tough-minded discipline. Young people might be young of age, it might be young of experience, it might be young of exposure. So we are all young in one way or the other. We're young to something. We're young to business, we might be young to politics, we're young to governance, we're young to family life, marriage. Even if you're 58 and you're getting married for the first time in your life, you are young to marriage, regardless of what you've heard before, what you've seen. In your own marriage, you're young. And you might be prone to foolishness and fads, doing things the way you heard without due diligence to check if that's the truth. And then you now enter problem. So what are we young at? And what are we prone to? I remember when one of my mentors years ago, she just got off the phone and she was like, this life. See us marrying in old age. Her friend who got married for the first time at 54 or so, she at that time was 50 something too. She said, You would think that getting married at this age will help us avoid certain problems. But this one, since they got married, problem every day. So she said, so what did we do wrong? So what she actually turned and said, so what went wrong? That old people like this, the guy is over 60, this one is 50 something, but they are having kind of problems that 20 something year olds have. Guess what happened? They were young to marriage and didn't learn what marriage should, the principles of marriage. They thought age will replace knowledge. Age ain't nothing but a number. Age is just a number. Principles, knowledge supersede age. So don't think because you have been in, which is something else we see. Some people work in an organization for 35 years, 30 years, they retire at 60 and then start a business and fail woefully, lose money. Why? They were young to entrepreneurship. That you had worked within a solid organization for 30 years does not in any way guarantee you succeed in business. You will get lost with certain levels of foolishness and fads. That if you pump 16 million into this business, you don't make them now. Meanwhile, you don't know the step by step. So it's not about pumping money. That's foolishness. That's a fad. We are young to something. Check what you are young at. So whilst we're teaching our young children, we should also get the right knowledge for the things we are young at. Through what? Tough-minded discipline. The discipline to study, the discipline to follow. The discipline to learn. Tough-minded discipline. Sometimes we need to be super hard on ourselves and hard on the ones that we're trying to teach. Tough-minded discipline. Exploit the poor or glad hand the rich, whichever, you'll end up the poorer for it. None of us is doing this in 2023, where we're going to exploit the poor or glad hand the rich, lace their hands. We've done it before. We're walking up this time. Say, I'm walking up. 30 precepts of the sages. Don't move back the boundary lines. Listen carefully to my wisdom. Take to heart what I can teach you. You'll treasure its sweetness deep within. You'll give it bold expression in your speech to make sure your foundation is trust in God. I'm laying it all out right now just for you. I'm giving you 30 sterling principles, tested guidelines to live by. Believe me, these are truths that work. Solomon is saying to us, these are truths that work. So let's note them, principles to live by. And they will keep us accountable to those who sent us, to God who sent us, to the people we work for, to the communities we lead, to the families we serve. 30 sterling principle. Principle number 1, don't walk on the poor just because they are poor. Don't use your position to crush the weak, because God will come to their defense. The life you took, he'll take from you and give back to them. Yesterday, I somebody was driving a funny way that made me think of this scripture. Yes, we are walking up. He was driving what some of us would call bumburu. He was driving a lorry, one of these 911 size type lorries. And he was honking his horn in traffic, bad traffic that we were not moving. And he was just using the horn, disturbing the peace. And so people around him said, and what is it? Him is enjoying himself, Joe. But he was a nuisance. All I could think of was, don't use your position to crush the weak. Not because you are big, so you behave anyhow and others don't matter. because they are poor. Don't walk on the poor. For some reason, that just made me feel, bring to this. That the only reason this guy is doing this is because he's driving that big truck. And anybody who tries to maybe put their car in front of him or something, he can hit them and they will be the one more hurt. Different thoughts just came to me like, this is unfair. People are already tense, they are tired, they are distressed, and then now you're blaring your horns. He did it for a long time, blaring. At some point, he would just bang. God will come to the defense of those who we are crushing. So let's be aware, because it's possible. Is it possible that we're crushing some people without knowing that we are doing so because of our position? Let's be careful. This money was dedicated to welfare of the department, the entire department. There's 6 of us in the department. The money is 60,000. We can call everybody in and say, how are we going to use it? What should we do? Okay, we should make sure we have tea and coffee, right? Okay, make sure we have drinking water. Everybody take 3,000 naira and the rest we use for general goods, right? Okay. That's one way to do it, right? And everybody gets a part of it. The other way could be 60,000. So for me, as the boss, I did 30. Oh yeah, 5 of you go and share this 30. I'm not your mate. When people become my mates, when people get to my position, you do as you like. Oh yeah, get out. And you smile about it, you laugh about it. To you, it's like a joke. Don't crush people because of your position. Do you know how I've labored here? You people that are just coming this year, all of us should now share. Is it like that? And you'll be smiling, no, there'll be a smile on your face, Is it like that? So even if I give you, I say let all of us share, well, you will collect. You collect. I'm keeping 40,000. I'm not even hiding. There's no water in my mouth. 40,000. Tell anybody if you like. 40K is mine here. How people want to share this 20K? It's up to you. Yeah, you going. Random example. Possible, actually. Life you took, he'll take from you and give to them. Principle 2, don't hang out with angry people, Joyce. Don't keep company with hot heads. Bad temper is contagious. Don't get infected. People who will say, we go, yeah. If you keep hang out with them on Twitter, in real life, on Facebook, before you know it, you start behaving like them. You keep company with angry people who are angry with life, angry with prudence, angry with diligence, angry with hard work, angry with God. It's contagious. Don't get infected. Principle 3, don't gamble on the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the one you have not seen. Pawning your house against a lucky chance, the time will come when you have to pay up. You'll be left with nothing but the shirt on your back. So they have promised you that next year or in the next 5 years or the next 10 years, they will give you so and so and so. What do we call those things? What's that thing called? When you retire from a place at a certain level, what's that thing? Some benefits, right? And you have not received it yet too, but you have started planning against it. Somebody has told you, I will give you this. There's this thing that you will get at the end of this. I've done this business. I'm expecting that this year, will make 17 million. So based on that, let me go and start borrowing from people to say, don't worry. By November, pension, gratuity. Yes, that's the word I was looking for, gratuity. Thank you. By December, this 2023 December, see, except God is not living, we are making 25 billion with the thing with so leave that thing. Oh yeah, come and borrow me money. Give me 6 million plus. I will even give you with interest 10%. Nonsense. So have you seen? Do you know what we have done after WISER? The thing we have done. I'm gonna make 25. Oh yeah, let me start borrowing. Especially when the due diligence hasn't been done. Don't pawn your house against a lucky chance. You might just be left with nothing but the shirt on your back. Do everything with diligence and prudence. Faith is different from betting. This is a case of betting. You're doing Bet Niger or Bet King. Don't gamble on the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Even with faith, don't say, well, I believe God, in his infinite wisdom, mercy, and the fact that he owns it all. Next year, he's going to give me 40 million, or he's going to give me a poultry with 3,000 birds. So I can behave as I like now. Be careful. Don't stealthily move back the boundary lines staked out long ago by your ancestors, land grabbers. So I had to check what it meant, what boundary lines were. One other version said boundary markers. So I checked, and it showed those stones, those stones that are put up after a survey that show the dimensions of a particular plot of land. They put the stones to show these and these make up this particular plot. And you hear of situations where somebody says they don't shift the land, or you were supposed to build your fence here, now the fence has moved 14 inches. The Lord is saying, don't do this. Wisdom is saying, don't do this in 2023. If you must move it, have a conversation. Either you're going to buy that extra thing, or if you think you've been wrongly treated by that, make the case legally. Don't stealthily, meaning don't hide to do it. If you must move the boundary lines, then do it publicly and let it be that everybody's in the know. 5 principle. He said he was giving us 30 sterling principles, right? Number 5 here says, observe people who are good at their work. Skilled workers are always in demand and admired. They don't take a back seat to anyone. They do not take a back seat to anyone. I was having a conversation with someone a few days ago, and I said I beat my chest that there are only 2 reasons why clients will not call me back to work for them. Only 2 reasons on the face of the earth. For those who don't know what I do, I MC events. That has been my business for 15 years. November 11th this year made me 15 years on the job. There are only 2 reasons why a client who I have worked for will not call me back. And in 15 years of asking questions, I confirm it time and time again. Only 2 reasons. Number 1, I'm not available. Our dates don't align. Number 2, they can't afford me. Full stop. But to say they found someone better, I have never heard. To say they found someone different, possibly. But when I have checked every time and time and time and time again, madam, we didn't call you because that your money, we didn't have it. This time, they told us we didn't have budget. Don't just call Joyce Daniels here. Go and look for somebody who will collect this money we have. It's all right. Madam, when they asked you, they said you were not available. So, madam, we found this person. Oh, she's really, really good. And when we asked her how much and she called the money, everybody said, let's just take her with this money that she's asking for, because we've got Joyce Daniels here now, the kind of money she will ask for. Let's not even have that struggle. She was okay. She did a great job. If you were there, we know what we would have received, but the truth was that money, we couldn't spend it this year. Observe people who are good at their work. In 2023, you'll beat your chest and say the only 2 reasons people will not call me to work for them. It will never be a question of skill. I will be in demand and admired. I will take a back seat to no one. This is a righteous cause, not a thing of arrogance. No. Arrogance will stop me from learning. So I was called to MC an event last Sunday. What did I do on Saturday? I opened a book I bought years ago, The Expert MC, just so that I can compete with my best self. And I opened it, and just from the first 3 or 4 pages, I was refreshed. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. See how to do this. Oh, I will try this. Refresh yourself so that you will be in demand and admired, and you will take a back seat to no one. You know why I will take a back seat to no one? I'll tell you why. Because I'll prepare seats for others to come sit with me. Oh, yes, I will prepare seats for others in my field to sit with me because there's enough space for all of us at the table. And even if in skill somebody does become better than me, which is a great thing and is expected to happen, they will never put me on the back seat because I would always be amongst the names they will mention and say, she made me, she was part of those who made me what I am. And you think that person will put me on the back seat? Never. Some people will say, I am where I am today because Joyce Daniels taught me, or she was a role model for us to look up to. And so I thank her for this. Is that a backseat? Never. And I'm speaking for myself to challenge someone here who might not have thought about it in this regard. I always tell the story of when I sat with a gentleman on a plane before the 2015 elections. He was running for governorship seat. And so when we sat on the plane, we're leaving Uyo to Lagos or Abuja. He looked familiar, but I wasn't sure. I was like, I know your face very well. Then he said, oh, he's running. I was like, oh, yes, I've seen your posters all over. I wish you the best, this and that. So, of course, I engaged him. I hope you don't mind. Ask a few questions. So why are you running? What do you want to achieve with this? What were you doing before now? And so, of course, we were bantering back and forth. Very cordial conversation. And then he asked me what I was traveling for. I think that was when I was traveling to Abuja to deliver a training for Masters of Ceremonies. I said, okay, so this is what I do, and this is why. He said, so you're going to prepare your competition. You're training your competition. He can't see the sense in that. Something like that is like, you're training people who will come and take markets from you. And I said, that thinking right there is why you cannot be governor of a state. And you could see the shock, like, how dare you? I said, that thinking right there is why you cannot lead an entire state, because you're already thinking of scarcity. I'm thinking of the abundance of events every day all over this country, and we need professionals at every single event. May it be that in 10 years from that day, there would be no event that has a poor MC, because I would have trained them all to do right. Minimum to do as good as I do, better than me, Seth. Because right now, even as we are in this plane, and yes, I was gyrating, even as we are in this plane right now, there's an event going on somewhere. And I'm praying that the person who is on the microphone there is doing it right. I'm not saying, hey, they'll come again. No, I owe that to my destiny. You create opportunities for people to excel and do right, because there is opportunity too. This is Christmas season. There are events a dime a dozen every day of the week in every state. I want MCs everywhere who are doing well, who know how to follow protocol, who know how to introduce people, who know how to warm up a crowd, who know how to engage, who know how to do it right, and who are at par with their competitors or their colleagues anywhere in the world. You think that is a wise thing for me to be the only good one? I don't know if it was Joyce here now, she would have. No, that's poor thinking. That's scarcity thinking. Oh, if it was Joyce here now, would have. No, that you have Leslie. Leslie should be good. You have Nancy. Nancy should be great. You have Anthony. He should kill it with power and fire, vigor, diligence, prudence. Finish it and pay him his due. Not say, Anthony, you know, you're good, though, but this is only the 10,000 we have. Don't try that rubbish. If he asked you for 200,000 because that's what he believes he should, and then pay him because he delivered the good job. Don't come and be using nonsense gimmicks to cheat people. Don't try it. Don't try it. There is a clause. There is a clause. The clause says who are good at their work. They're not struggling at the work. They've done the due diligence. Skilled workers, not people who are just faffing around and saying, no, I've been at this for 7 years, but it doesn't show in your delivery. I can't tell that you've been doing this for 7 years. Time does not equate skill. So don't tell me you've been doing this since you were born. I met one man one time. We co-emceed somewhere. Oh, he has been doing this for donkey years. Meanwhile, you don't know how to introduce people. You don't know how to call people. You shut up and sit down. That's the people who take a back seat. So don't tell me you've been doing this for 9 years. Meanwhile, you have not trained yourself. You train and you work at it and you keep working at it. And as I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking to me, to remind myself that I've been at it for 15 years means nothing if I don't refresh constantly to ensure that I am good, skilled at my work. Then I'll be in demand and admired. Oh, this job I did on Sunday was one of the most, it was the high point, as it were, of my year, you might say. Ibuku Anwoshika will be 24, will be 60 years old on the 24th, on Saturday. So on Sunday, her best friends put together a party, a small party for 60 women with Ibukun at 60, Billy at 60, Bilkisu, for those who don't know, that's her name. Ibukun was given to her by someone. It was not her given name at birth, right? She's Bilki. So Billy at 60. And so they were saying, oh, it was kind of like a last minute plan, put together this and that, and they were saying, oh, they need an MC who would be fun, who would be refreshing. It's supposed to be fun. It was the whole thing was all about games and fun. And they were saying, oh, who can do this? Oh, this person, oh, she'll be too. And of course, it had to be a woman. No, this person, she's too corporate. This one, they called one person. And then she said they were about to give up and say, you know what? We will just MC the thing by ourselves. After all, now we. And we want somebody who will be free with all these big, big women and free with them to do. And she said, this was Yewande Zacchaeus saying this as a vote. When the event was over, she took the mic and said, no, just after Ibuku Anwoshika spoke to say thank you, after we cut the cake and the toast, Yewande said, I need to talk about somebody in this room or here who I just met and this and that. And said, oh, we're about to give up. In fact, I said amongst ourselves that we would just MC by ourselves and just have fun. Then I just mentioned to my sister, Omobola Johnson, and said, this is where we're still trying to find someone. She said, I know the perfect person. I pray she's available. There are only 2 reasons why a client will not call me back. It's either I'm not available or they cannot afford me. It cannot be any other reason that they found somebody better. I forbid it. Not because I don't want people to be better than me, but the uniqueness, the freshness I bring will be unique to me. It will be, this person is very good. It was Joyce. Not in a bad way. I hope you get it. Train, skill up, work up. And so she called and said, Joyce, please, I hope you are available. I said, Ma, done. I didn't ask her what the program was. Who would you? She just said, it's this. That you, Madam Omobola Johnson, who I revere, calls me and says, it's you. Those are the kind of people I don't even ask how much is involved, or that's me. My own is, you referred me as the person, I will show up and I will level up to the expectation given. And that's what I want us to do in 2023. Let the people who will refer us be The right kind of people who understand value, not people who don't understand. I don't want people who don't know value to be calling me. I say, just call Joyce now. Joyce, if Joyce ask you for 200,000 naira, I die here. With Joyce, not be Joyce we see yesterday. No, those kind of people should not call me. I don't want them at all. They want to now pour sansan inside my gari. I'm all beautiful like this and well done up, well skilled, and they want to make my no. I tell them I'm not available. Stop that rubbish. Stop it. See Joyce, we did Joyce start. Hey. Joyce, true. I remember when somebody called me, Joyce, hey, my people called you, they said it's the amount you asked for. I say, hey, we did Joyce start this thing. That's not who I'm asking for to value me. I mean the people who will say, this is the girl, treat her this way. I said, I'm so there. I am available that Sunday. I'm coming. Before they talked about money, I say I'm there. Event finished. People like, oh, you mean she's an MC? I thought she was like Billy's younger sister or something. She behaved like one of us. That's my trademark. Anybody who knows my work knows that's my trademark. If I work for an organization, you cannot tell that that's the first time I'm working for an organization because I become the organization. That is me. You can't tell that this is the first time. So when people ask me, oh, do you work for this company? I say, yes. Today they paid my salary. I'm a staff of theirs, so I must sound like a staff. I am a staff. Today I'm working for Auntie Billy and Auntie Yewande and Co. I must sound like a member of the planning team. I must sound like one of those who organized it. The point has been made. That's the last verse for today. Verse 29. That's actually the last verse for today. We're taking a backseat to no one in 2023. In this fair that you have said you belong to. You say you are a writer, study everything to make you a great writer, even if you've been writing since 19 You say you are a plumber, you are a coder, you are a travel agent, you are a child rights activist, you are a guidance counselor, you say you are a firebender, airbender. Go and relearn how to bend for 2023. You say you are an electrician, go and look for the more modern tools and techniques in electricianism to make sure you are in demand and admired. And admired. It's important to be admired because admiration brings value. Not in demand, but Joyce is good, but she's so rude. She's very good when she's on the stage. Oh, she's great, but she's so rude. She's so arrogant. She comes in, she doesn't know how to greet people. She treats people, she looks down. But they will hire her now because up there she's good. This Oga them, she has been working for them, but the lady, she's so bad. She's not admired. Admiration is important. In 2023, I will be admired. I will. Don't say that admiration is too little for you. I don't care whether they like me, they don't like me. I'll do my work. We're not saying you should sacrifice the truth for admiration. Add to the truth admiration. Be kind to people. Be nice to people. Proverbs has told us all these things. In the place that you say you are, in the place that is your territory, be diligent. Be good at the job. Skilled at it. Bring it all to bear, and you see how God will open doors. This is very akin to what Jimmy was speaking of yesterday from Proverbs, where it says people who know how to lead, people who are great at leadership have opportunities, doors open, right? God blesses people who are diligent in self-leadership. Then he gives them opportunity to lead others. Cheers to skillful work. Cheers to being in high demand and being admired by people of value. Cheers to studying to show ourselves approved workers that will never be ashamed of our work tools, rightly dividing the word of truth that concerns us, our careers, our professions, our families. Cheers to admiration. Admiration that comes from doing what is right and just. Cheers to standing on the side of truth. Cheers to being the light that loses nothing by lighting others. Cheers to growth. Cheers to sufficiency. Cheers to the abundance that God has given us, enough to share with the world. Cheers to being kind to those who are poor and shaking hands with them as equals, even as we inject into them to bring them out of poverty of every sort. Cheers to life.